Okay, so we're gonna need our 8.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. Okay, we're also gonna need the 4x4 piece of construction paper, a ruler, a pencil, and a glue stick. If you don't have, and I guess a pair of scissors. If you do not have this stuff, then you need to make sure that you take it home. Okay, so then you're able to get your project done. I'm gonna start with the construction paper, and I am going to draw myself either an organic or geometric line from one side to the other. Okay, and this can be anything that you want this to be. This is an experiment. It's nice with a pencil that you can erase something if you don't like it and redraw. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're using the pencil. This can be something that you do a geometric design, and then you do something that is more organic, and then you go back and do something that's geometric. Okay, but you are drawing, let's see if I can zoom in. You are drawing something on there that has 3 different levels to it. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and so I'm going to rotate and kind of make some other ones, and sometimes this makes the other parts a lot smaller. Okay, but it's kind of fun to experiment and see what you get, especially with this. Okay, so if I do something like that, maybe I would do a piece that's maybe a little more like mechanical kind of looking to it, but you're really just experimenting with different shapes of lines that are interesting to you. Okay, so maybe I would also do, I'm going to try another one over here. This one's going to be kind of little. I could also make them like similar in shape and just kind of bring them up, but I should have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. I'm going to make this one. Okay, a little bit smaller. Okay, so I have, let me zoom out because it's pretty big. My lines on here, if I were to count them, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so that's what we need. We're not going to do anything with this just yet. We need to figure out where this is when we're looking at the paper. We want this to be centered. And so I'm going to kind of guess, but then I'm going to bring my ruler in and I'm going to look and mark where 2 1/4 is. So 2 1/4, mark this on like my actual paper. Same thing here. I could do this from this side by going 1, 2 1/4, but you could also move this over and measure as well. Okay, and make those little marks. The paper is just kind of nice to get you in a general like area. Okay, so 2 1/4, and I'll show you why this is important. Okay, so this kind of gives us an idea of where centered is here. We would need to do the same kind of thing here and go 2 1/4 over. Yeah, that's right. And then same thing over here, 2 1/4. Okay, so some of these I have to extend to really see them, like cross. And I'm drawing really light, okay, because I don't want this to be something that you see later. But you can see, let me erase these outside parts, that I have kind of a hash mark that goes each direction. that these are gonna line up on. So this is like a registration mark. It helps you figure out where it should go, okay? So this is where I should make sure all of my corners end up. And so now I'm ready to go ahead and cut this. I am going to cut the biggest ones of each of these, okay? So one trick, at least with a pair of scissors, that some people don't know or they don't use is that it's easier to turn the paper than it is to turn the scissors, okay? Because you can just keep cutting and then you just kind of open it back up and you can get a little more intricate and you can go a little bit faster than you can if you're trying to like move the scissors. It's a little more awkward. If you don't cut exactly on your line, it's not a big deal because we can erase it. And since this was cut from it, it is going to fit back together no matter what, right? Like this piece fits right here, okay? Because I only made one cut. So I'm gonna go ahead, cut the other ones. You're gonna end up with a really skinny kind of X shape. Oops. And sometimes it's easier to go back to the other side. And cut, and we'll kind of talk about the pencil marks in a minute. If you overcut, it should be fine. We're gluing everything down. And I think I'm going to make that one a little shorter. Okay, and then last one. This one's kind of a funky one. But really, this one is all about like experimenting. Okay, so find some neat lines that are geometric and organic and give those a shot. Okay. Oh, come on. Okay, so I've got my pieces. I'm going to put these back on the table and put them where they should go. So this is what it should look like, okay? Or this is like the puzzle pieces fitted back into those sections. I'm going to take my middle piece and I'm actually going to put glue on this side and flip this over and then make sure that these go into the corners that I made. Okay, so I should see a little corner, okay, like right there where this should fit in, okay? And I'm actually gonna lighten all of mine, like so I can see them, because I think it's easier to do that now. And the other thing would be if I am putting glue on top of pencil, it's not going to erase. Okay, so you're gonna want to make sure that you do that. I'm gonna glue on this side because I won't have to erase any of this pencil. I can just flip it over and there's no pencil marks. Okay, so I feel like that's at least easier. There's less erasing, and that's why it doesn't matter on these kind of things if they're not perfect. Okay, so just get some glue on all these pieces. Once you stick it, you have, I don't know, 15, 20 seconds to kind of move things around, if that. So you really want to make sure that you get it right and you're not doing anything else. I messed up one of mine, and I'll show you. It was really hard to fix, and the reason I messed it up is because I was talking to somebody. Okay, and so you really have to make sure that you are paying attention. So I'm going to push one corner down, get this next one kind of lined up, okay, and then go from there. Okay, and that looks pretty good. Okay, I've got a little bit of a pencil mark right on the front. Okay, so this is centered according to these corners, and now I'm going to fit these pieces back in there. But now since I flipped it, I'm gonna have to flip these. Okay, so they're gonna get flipped. Okay, so this is what I have. And so now I'm gonna work on one of them at a time. Okay, if I were to cut all of these apart, I would have 12 pieces. Okay, I would have 3 for this one, 3 for this one, 3 for this one, 3 for this one, and it would be a big mess. Okay, so I'm gonna start with one of them and see, what do I like? What that, I'll show you with just one. Okay, so this is the one I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna go ahead and cut my second part and move my scissors, or move my paper instead of moving. And then sometimes it's best to go back on the other side. Some of these get itty bitty when you are cutting them. Okay, so that's one section. So what I'm gonna do is match this up right here. Okay, and then I'm gonna look at it and I'm gonna say this has to flip like a pancake. It needs to go right here, and it needs to match up with the corners. Whew. So it's gonna have to match up right here and right down here. Okay, it shouldn't be in like this, shouldn't be out, right? It shouldn't be tipped, okay? It needs to line up. And then the other thing with this is I've got all this pencil. And so it's better to go ahead and erase this. You're gonna have to hold it. It's gonna make your final product look better if you erase this. And just like I said before, if I were to get glue on top of this, it would be hard to get rid of it. Okay, and I drew probably a little darker because I'm trying to make sure you can see it. But erase that off of it. Just be careful that you don't rip it. Make sure you support that side and then erase. Okay, so double check before you put any glue on this because it is next to impossible to get rid of. Okay, and you're probably gonna have to cut a new piece. So this is the way it goes. So it's gonna get flipped over here. So I'm gonna put glue on this side. Okay, and then I'm gonna flip. And I'm gonna line up this bottom part. Okay, line up the top. It'll let you move it around for a little bit. Ooh, come on. Okay, and so I've got one section like flipped over there. Now this one fits this direction. Okay, and so I'm gonna cut my third one. Oh, come on. Which is going to be really little. Okay, so I've got this one. Ooh, it's tiny. I won't have to flip, or I won't have to erase this side, which is nice. So I know that it fits here. I'm gonna put some glue on this and flip this over, line this up. Okay, so you can see how that lines up there. Press that down. And then this one is gonna line up here. I'm gonna have to flip this over and then erase my pencil and glue on the other side. Okay, so I'm just showing you one side. The rest of this is going to be the exact same thing, okay, that you're gonna have to work on and create This is really what we're looking for at the end. Okay,